The Africa Cup of Nations 2023 is just 25 days away, and 24 teams will compete there, and that includes South Africa, of course, this time around. But of course, it'll also include the host nation, Cote d'Ivoire, and I'm joined in studio here by their ambassador to South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire ambassador to South Africa, Mr. Sakaria Kone, who agreed to wake up very early in the morning. He just told me that he's still asleep normally at this time, but he honored us with his presence in studio this morning. Thank you so much for your time, and welcome to Newsroom Africa.
Thank you so much, and thanks for this opportunity and honor.
Yes,
it's a great pleasure.
The honor is ours, sir, because we get to talk to someone who you basically live in Ivory Coast in South Africa.
Yes.
So we get to know exactly what the state of readiness is for the West African country for the Africa Cup of Nations that is in just a few or a couple of weeks' time. Where are we? What kind of, or what state of readiness are we at the moment?
Thank you so much again. Cote d'Ivoire is ready. We are fully ready. We are ready. The AFCON is called the AFCON Aquaba. The AFCON hospitality to Cote d'Ivoire. And the Ivorians are really gearing up to hosting their brothers and sisters from across the continent. So everywhere the vibe is there. People are rejoicing. They can't wait to welcome the 24 nations to Cote d'Ivoire, the country of hospitality, the country which always opens its hands and heart to the people of Africa.
What we always want to know as football fans, firstly, because it's a football tournament, right, or it's a sporting event, we want to know, are the match venues ready? Because we don't want situations where you get to a tournament or just 5 days before kickoff, we're told there's still some construction work that's happening at some of the main venues. All the match venues are ready.
All the match venues. And you will recall that the Sundown team, the women team, played in Korogo, where Bafana is going to be based. So it was a nice tournament where the Ivorians were. The people of Korogo were supporting in full force the team from South Africa. So that is one of the stadium. And then there is a stadium in Yamoussoukro where there have been games of our teams. And recently also Bafana played in the Stade Félix Houphouët-Boigny, which is in Abidjan. And currently also the Ivorians we are training in San Pedro, which is one of the other stadium. The main stadium, the Stade Alassane Ouattara, is the biggest, which is going to host. That's where the magic is going to take place.
So a bit of a home for us South Africans in Ivory Coast. Bafana went there. They played to a draw. So look, we're not starting from a losing point. We recently went to Ivory Coast. We came out with a draw against the host nation. So Bafana will feel at home somewhat in Ivory Coast. But let's zoom in on Korogo itself. You mentioned that Mamelodi Sundowns ladies were there for the CAF Women's the Champions League, which they won. What kind of place is it then? Let's help Coach Hugo Broos and his team.
Korogo is in the northern part of Cote d'Ivoire. We call it almost like the capital of the north. And Korogo is a very interesting place because it is a hub of a culture, you know, of the people called the Senufo people. That is their hub. And when you are in Korogo, you feel that cultural, what you call vibe. You have areas where, you know, people are sewing, making traditional clothes, and you have also women that are involved in shibatas, and you know, it's a very interesting place. It's a capital of the Senufo people, and it's a very, very cultural place.
How's the weather there?
The weather is, you know, during this time when the team goes there, it will be Harmattan. Harmattan is, well, between bracket the winter, it becomes a bit cool during the night, and during the day it becomes hot. And it's between 34 to maybe 16 degrees. But 34 is dry. At that time, it's a bit dry. It's a bit dry because it is our winter.
Yeah.
But it's a bit dusty, because of there's a lot of winds during the Harmattan.
Yeah.
So it's like a winter.
So those are the kind of conditions that Bafana Bafana will have to compete with or contend with as they play their group stage matches. Yeah. Hopefully they'll be able to go through to the knockouts and go to other cities, but they'll, in the main, be based in Korogo, where Coach Jerry Shabalala and his Mamelodi Sundowns women's team were based when they won the CAF Champions League recently. The reason I ask you about the weather there, Mr. Kone, is that this Africa Cup of Nations was supposed to actually be held this year. That's why it's still called AFCON 2023.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just postponed to early next year because of weather conditions in Cote d'Ivoire in June, July. What's so bad that we can't play football during that time? It is
a raining season, and sometimes it can rain throughout the week, non-stop, because it's a very, very, very humid when it comes to rain, and it rains a lot, and it pours, from June all the way to August. It's raining season. Sometimes you go a week, it's just raining. And it would have made things.
But we have drainage systems in the newly built stadiums and everything. Exactly. So it gets that bad.
Yes, it really does get bad. And you won't believe the quantity of rain that comes in. You have to be there to understand that. Yeah. And a day you would have 1,600 millimeters, of rain, and so it is a very, 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 very bad period. And even our soccer league, generally speaking, those periods are vacation period. The school closes in June. The school closes in June, and then they open in October. So this is it's a raining season.
So this is deliberately the football stops, and you don't want. Even if you have drainage systems, there's amounts of rain at times that cannot be handled by the drainage systems. Even here in South Africa, a country that hosted the World Cup, you don't want water puddles on the pitch and players end up getting injured there. But the postponement in June, July must have felt like it's never going to happen because to the people of Ivory Coast. I say this because you were supposed to host this tournament actually in 2021. The original awarding of the Nations Cup for Cote d'Ivoire was for 2021. What happened, for those who may not know, just for perspective, is that Cameroon was supposed to host the 2019 Nations Cup, and because they were not ready, CAF decided, they voted to halt Cameroon's hosting or to postpone Cameroon's hosting to 2021. There was fresh voting and bidding, obviously, for the 2019 edition of the Nations Cup, which then went to Egypt, which was the last time that Bafana Bafana participated in that. So that meant Egypt is taking 2019, Cameroon is then taking 2021, which was also delayed because of COVID-19. It was then held in 2022. It was just a whole lot of a mess. Thankfully, we now seem to have struck some sort of equilibrium. But initially, the government of Ivory Coast contested the postponing of, or the awarding of the 2021 Nations Cup to Cameroon and giving your country 2023. What were the reasons for contesting the postponement?
All I can say is that we thought we'd be able to do in 2021. But I think that's the past now, and for me everything happened for a reason. And I think it gives us also a good opportunity to prepare even better because we want to offer, the president says it must be a African Nation Cup that to be remembered, by the quality of the ambience and the quality of infrastructure that people will see what Côte d'Ivoire offers as a country. And I think it's a very important platform where Africans are going to discover what Côte d'Ivoire offers in terms of hospitality, in terms of infrastructure, and in terms of beauty. And I think, many people are going to be pleasantly surprised by what we offer. And this is why we want to use the opportunity, the AFCON, to organize, especially in Korogo, a business forum, just the following day after the first game, so that people can also use sport and see what offers, what are the opportunities, because Korogo is rich in the mining sector. Barrick, one of the South African company, is based there, and Korogo also is an agricultural city and a cultural city as well. So we produce cashew, cotton, and peanuts, and also and shea butters. So how South African business community, supporters and business can use that platform is what we as an embassy want to offer in collaboration with South African embassy.
So in essence, it's worked better. Yes. The delay has been a blessing in disguise.
Exactly. So that's why one should never complain when there is such delay, because it happened for a purpose. And I think it's an opportune time for us.
Ivory Coast has only won the Nations Cup twice, in 1992 and 2015. Is it a true reflection of the talent that the country has had?
No. I always say, I said, wow, we should have won maybe 6 times, because we have had a very, very, very good team from actually from 2000, and then you have a generation of Didier Drogba, Yaya Touré, Kolo Touré, Kalou, and all those. I think they should have, 2006 we should have won, 2008 we should have won, 2010 we should have won, so, but because we have talent. But, football is what it is. And we lost sometimes on penalty. Even in 2012, we also lost on penalty to Zambia. Nobody was expecting that, and we were heartbroken.
Ivory Coast has had some really talented teams over the years. And the one name that has been the poster boy for Ivorian football over the years, over the last 20 years or so, Didier Drogba. Sadly, he couldn't win the Nations Cup in his playing days. The likes of Siaka Tiene in that team, Gervinho. He actually missed the penalty in that 2012 final against a very inspired Zambian team, and hopefully another Southern African team will get to win the Nations Cup this time around. West Africa must just give us a chance. Maybe. Because it's held by Senegal at the moment. But Mr. Kone, is there anything that the embassy here will be planning with regards to...
we have already we started already our activities. We did Soccer Fridays, and we launched it at the residence of Côte d'Ivoire, where we were very happy to host Dr. Kumalo and Lucas Radebe. And we were very happy. It was a very good platform to launch, the AFCON festivities at the embassy. And we also organize Fridays. We wear our T-shirts, the Ivorian T-shirt. Now it's Christmas time, but the embassy will be open for business. Will be open for South African, for visa, and all further information related to AFCON. So soon we are also going to publicize, on our Facebook and also on the platform that we have, the packages that we offer for South Africans that are willing to go to Côte d'Ivoire, to Korogo for this tournament, and especially the business forum, because we want people, football and business. People can see what are the opportunities, how can we interact, because this is a huge opportunity for the country to showcase what it offers in terms of economy. And we are an agriculture base, and there are very interesting things that South African can take advantage of.
Well, Mr. Kone, depending on how things go in the weeks of the Nations Cup in your country, hopefully we'll have a situation where Bafana Bafana face the elephants of Ivory Coast in the final of the Nations Cup, depending on how things go, who finishes where, how the draw goes in the knockout stages. I'm confident of a knockout berth for South Africa and the host, Ivory Coast. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Mr. Sakaria Kone, the ambassador for Cote d'Ivoire to South Africa, joining us this morning to talk about the Africa Cup of Nations, which starts on the 13th of January with Ivory Coast taking on Guinea-Bissau in that match. South Africa will then play on the 16th with their first match against Mali. That kickoff for that match is 10 o'clock. And hopefully on the 11th of February, we'll see a situation where Cote d'Ivoire is taking on South Africa.